So it's a pleasure to be here once more. Actually, I have been to SAMUS Summit and Summer School for 2 years, the last 2 years in SAMUS. And yeah, I'm very glad to be presenting here and this invitation from the AG University. I'm also involved in the Government 3.0 project that have been mentioned many times before, and it's a pleasure to present the Digital Governance Master Program and the Gov3.0 Master Curriculum that we developed under the project umbrella. So my name is Gabriela Viale Pereira. I'm Assistant Professor for Information Systems at the University Krems in Austria, as Haris kindly mentioned before. So this is just the agenda of this brief presentation. I will bring a bit the contextualization, so why we developed this curriculum for in the context of the project. We identified some training needs for digital governance. That was the starting point for building the curriculum and the training program. Then I will present the Government 3.0 Master Curriculum and some recommendations and guidelines for the implementation of this curriculum or this program for from other universities that would be interested in that. So basically, we started identifying the capacities and competencies of professionals to attend the demand of emerging technology and transformation in government and society. And then we framed the training needs for graduates in this area. So we tried to identify the gaps. What were the demands in the government and local government for implementing emerging technology, and what the existing programs and existing curriculum was delivering. And then we tried to, based on this gap, to frame this new program on Government 3.0. So the Erasmus Plus project, the scientific foundations, training and entrepreneurship activities in the domain of ICT-enabled governance goes beyond the existing state of art. So we really try to see what's there, and then it is, especially was mentioned before, the roadmap we created is a lot based on future scenarios of future applications of emerging technologies in the public sector and private sector, to frame the scientific domain of Government 3.0. This was always going beyond the state of art for our understanding of this new domain. So basically, we try to establish the current baseline for the e-governance curriculum, describe the fundamental aspects. That's what I will be presenting here. And just to contextualize also, this Government 3.0 Master Curriculum is one of the main deliverables of the project that was led by the team in Koblenz, Alexander Rosin and Professor Maria Wimmer. But this curriculum was a lot based on previous work that we had done in the project, especially on the graduate modules on ICT-enabled governance. That was also the foundation for the MOOC that will be presented later by Kostas. So all these modules formed actually the curriculum for the specialization in the master curriculum, but also for the massive open online course that we developed within the project. So the main challenge that we identified in previous deliverables of the project was to understand and to develop this universal view and understanding of e-governance domain. So we found that there is a lack of proper definition of roles, responsibilities, competencies, and skills in the domain of e-governance, especially regarding training needs. So we need to understand those competencies to actually be able to identify what we have to teach and what should be the main focus of the curriculum. We also identified the existence of a dichotomy between specialized programs and a more multidisciplinary project. We know that the digital governance domain is very interdisciplinary. We also discussed this yesterday on the workshop from Yanis on identify the domain of digital governance and also the neighboring domains. So we know that we need different disciplines to actually deliver the perfect combination of technical and non-technical skills for educating people in this area. There is also a need for interregional and international level programs where you understand different contexts, you understand the different needs and applications in the public sector in different development levels in terms of economic development in the countries. So we need to also address these issues, which is also a challenge. And especially the continuous updating on the e-governance program, because you have emerging technologies coming all the time. So this is also a challenge for defining a curriculum in this area, because you have technological advancements and you need to always keep updating the program in this sense. So addressing data science, big data, robotics, artificial intelligence, cyber physical systems, quantum computing, and so on. So you always have to take into account new and emerging technologies that come. So coming to the Gov3 master curriculum that we developed, we try to address all these crucial points for developing digital government domain. So we developed an international program. We consider this as a very important aspect to have national and international level, to have cross-border cooperation and service. We included in the curriculum the only principle, for example, electronic identification platforms, because this combination of or transnational context is also a quite relevant area for digital public service development. We also try to bridge the gap between the different regions. In this context of the project and the curriculum we develop is in the European Union, but of course is also addressing issues beyond European Union. We consider strongly the innovation aspects and the implementation of disruptive technologies. This is the core of our curriculum, is the government-free aspect that brings and focus on disruptive technologies, and then combining always the technology and the soft skills education. So we need to consider legal aspects, managerial, ethical issues in introducing these new technologies for the public sector. So the objectives of the curriculum are focus a lot on understanding the domain of digital government and on the emerging technology, as I said before, as a way to disrupt the public governance process. The program focuses a lot on digitalization context, on the modernization of the public sector, information technology systems, so is a lot embedded on computer science and information systems area as well, and especially on the knowledge for decision-making systems. As you could see also yesterday, the definition of Government 3.0 focus a lot on the data-driven decision-making, data-driven policy-making. So this is also, of course, part of our curriculum, and the public sector automatization. The program also provides to the students a high degree of self-reliance, responsibility, and practical skills in the technology areas for the public sector, and is also very strong in the providing excellence in scientific research. We have the research roadmap that was developed by the project as a very strong foundation of this curriculum. So to develop and advance the research in the area for future development. This is really strong in this curriculum. And this specific curriculum, it's focused on a joint master. So integrating different universities, delivering one degree, and having always one unified assessment rules, one single study guide, one single student agreement, and this joint degree. So this is the goal of this specific curriculum that we developed. Then we have the learning outcomes. So for every master program, you need to have the learning outcomes. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of focus on digitalization and organizational modernization of the public sector. But then here we bring some new elements to understand the rise of digital platforms in digital government, to understand the benefits of disruptive technology, but also critically assess these areas of application for such technologies, to understand the challenge associated to introduction of disruptive technologies in digital governance, to understand the link between ICTs and wider societal challenge, the role of ICT in achieving these sustainability goals, the ethical issues arising for this implementation, also as I mentioned before. And we also focus, of course, on the research methods for digital government research. As you saw also in the science domain workshop, the methods and theories are very important. We saw in the evaluation in the survey done by Yanis yesterday that methods and theory were very high ranked among the elements that are important for a science-based digital governance. And we also consider these in this program, including data collection, preparation, and analysis methods. And of course, we need to develop skills for research projects, identifying goals, formulating research questions, and decide on appropriate methodology to tackle the research questions. So at the end, the students have to develop a master thesis that encompasses all these aspects. So this is the program structure. So we structure the program in 5 main group modules. Those are recommendations, of course. This is what we suggest as the main modules to form this curriculum. The first one would be the information systems entrepreneurship. That should be something like 15% of the master program, and it serves as a foundation for developing more advanced content later on into the program. So those should be taught in the first and second semester of the master program. And especially information systems development and legal foundations are important for understanding the wider picture of digital government in the society. We also have the project management and the research methods, and those will basically give the foundation for the development, the research project, and the master thesis. So those are more fundamental courses that should be delivered. And then entrepreneurship and innovation, those should be at least 5% of the credits, considering that those are very important components of Government 3.0. And this training should be provided for all the students in the master. So it should be mandatory course for teaching Government 3.0 within the Government 3.0 domain. Then we have the Gov3.0, which is the foundation of digital government, that we estimate at around 10% of the master program. Also provides introduction to the domain, to the digital government, and includes a lot of existing ways to evaluate the digital transformation process in the public sector, within indexes, indicators. Also describes the standardization and interoperability aspects, including, for example, the European interoperability framework. And here, as I mentioned before, the only principle could be taught within this level of, in this model, this level of e-government evolution. We also bring here the digital transformation aspect, so the innovation aspect, also as a foundation for the rest of the curriculum and the program. And then the specific research methods applied within the digital government domain. So this is also, we bring the foundation for the development of the research program. But here, more focus on digital government. In the Government 2.0 module, we focus on digital governance and engagement. Basically here, this module is characterized by the use of Web 2.0 technologies. Here we bring the open government and open data aspects, the e-participation, application of social media in government, especially for political participation, and then the collaborative governance with this, starting this focus on decision making always. Also, this module, especially the course on collaborative governance, it's kind of characterized as a bridging course within the Gov3, bringing, for example, the concept of smart cities in this context of collaborative governance. Then it comes the modules related to Gov3. This is a more strong part of the curriculum, within 20%, for example, of the master program. This represents the innovative aspects of the program based on the disruptive technologies. So we first suggest one course to introduce all disruptive technologies, and then if you can see the following 6 courses are more technology specific. Basically, we have here big data, also analytics. We have smart city government again, but with a more focus on the technological aspects, bringing the Internet of Things examples and applications. We also have basically machine learning, data mining, with natural language processing and semantic web here as well, blockchain and the realization of smart contracting. We have data-driven policy modeling, simulation, we have AI for decision-making. And one interesting aspect here is that we always discuss the technology, but also the application and soft skills, the challenge within this technology, as I mentioned before, the unintended consequences, the benefits, but also the potential harm that these technologies can bring. So we always have to have all the overview of applying these technologies in government for a complete understanding of an application of these disruptive technologies in government. And one overarching scheme here is that we focus on data-driven evidence-based decision and policy making. Finally, we have the 5th module, which focuses on the research project, that it's more practical oriented with a specific case of digital government service. And then this will be also a foundation for the development of the master thesis later on. So this is usually between the 2nd or the 3rd and 4th semester that the students would develop this research project. And here we also bring this sustainability and societal challenge course and also the ethics in disruptive technologies that will frame the government 3.0 domain in the context of wider issues in governance and society. So those 2 courses are relevant for all the previous module groups. This is just an example of how a curriculum would look like. This we built based on the expertise of 3 universities from the Gov3 project. So we would have, you see the information systems basics and the government 1.0 in the first 2 semesters, more deep there. And then the government 3.0 going along all the semesters, the 2 years. We have the research project in a summer school between the 2nd and the 3rd semester. And we have, of course, the master thesis at the end after you had all the research-oriented methods and previous courses before. So this is just one example how this curriculum that we propose could be applied. We also suggest a diverse range of pedagogical approaches. So we have lectures, presentations, seminars, and project-based learning methods. I will not go too deep on here, but the goal is a lot on developing the soft skills of students, communication skills of students, writing skills of the students, especially with the seminar work, and of course, bringing this to practice as well. So designing solutions to real-world problems and training soft skills with cooperation, problem solving, and project management within the project-based learning. Then finally, my last slide, some recommendations and guidelines for implementation. We believe that you have to critically reflect on the technological state of art in the public sector and adjust the curriculum always accordingly. So whenever you have new technologies, they should be implemented in the curriculum to access the actual competencies of the partners involved, and then to deliver the best qualification, to focus on disruptive technologies along all the curriculum, the whole program, including practitioner perspective to ensure the relevance of the program, to ensure this diversity of views on the topics, engaging external lectures from different universities to bring this multidisciplinarity and different perspectives. To make use of blended learning approach that will be addressed by the next speakers, and we have a very strong part on this. I didn't focus here because that will be the follow-up presentations. Provide a balanced view on the possible advantages and drawbacks of the disruptive technologies, as I mentioned before, unintended consequences of these technologies in government. Ethical and legal issues as well, to ensure an interdisciplinary approach and also transdisciplinary approach to bring in practitioners, academia and public sector together in the project development, for example. Framing the soft skills and promoting of individual competencies, ensuring the contribution to the wider society always, and then to have an appropriate evaluation of the program, engaging experts in this process. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention. And sorry, Haris, I was a bit over time, but I hope this is fine. Thank you again, and I'm at your disposal for
1 minute is okay. 1 minute is okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question here. Do you think you will be able to cover all these topics of the modules in a master program? You basically have 3 semesters for teaching, and I think this is not enough. In the end, you start educating students only on a high level that do not really understand the actual technical problems and challenges in the public sector. And to Florian Lemke opinion, this program does not fit the market needs.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. Yeah, basically, as you could
hard
see,
comment though.
Yeah, it is a bit hard. We had to, within the project, we had to develop a more broader view, and what we consider is that this program has to be always contextualized. So also in the different contexts and countries, you will have different needs. So this is a more general umbrella where you can pick the different courses to build your own program. As you could see in the program I suggested that we developed, it's not all those aspects addressed. Most of them, some of them are, and some are combined. But for example, in terms of disruptive technologies, we focus on AI and data analytics and not on blockchain, for example, because those were the needs we identified within the countries that were involved in the curriculum that we were developing. So we always have to contextualize to address the issues that are in the need of that you feel that also address your expertise as a university to teach. So not all universities can teach all those aspects. So that's why we suggested also a joint program. And basically we understand that the deepening of a concept will be on the research projects and on the master thesis. So that is where the student will really develop and go a bit deeper on one of the applications in the different levels or in the different disruptive technologies. So I understand your question, but basically you would have to build the curriculum according to the needs that you see or that you map and you identify as the most important.
Yes, this is what I wanted to highlight too, is that we foresee the cooperation of the final semester with companies that are dealing with digital government too. So the projects could be co-supervised in a way that the students really go deep in technical problems and challenges in the public sector.
And also will depend, as we said before, in one of the workshops we identified this curriculum we are offering is not a technical curriculum. So it depends on it depends on which level do you want, or what is your target group. So which focus are you giving, which target group are you trying to address? If you go for a more technical curriculum, then of course you have to adapt the curriculum. We are going more to a social science curriculum to develop the management skills for applying disruptive technologies in government. So this also will have a lot of relevance on choosing and picking the courses that will address the needs of your target group. So you always have to contextualize the program based on your needs.
So, Spiro, I mean companies. The government organization is one aspect too, of course, but there are companies that are dealing with big projects, developing big projects for the government organization. So, I mean companies, yes. Of course, government organizations are included in this.
It depends, yeah. I think we will have to, so for developing, for applying technology in public sector, we are talking about in transdisciplinarity, we are talking about the triangle, or even we even bring in the society as well. So depending on the focus of the student, they can address a citizen from a citizen perspective, from a business perspective, from a government perspective. So it's not, it depends on what is the focus of the student as well, what they want to develop. But it can be company, can be government, can be society, and so on. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for your comments.